Now, welcome back, guys. In this session, we're going to have a look at how to create what they call breakout rooms. So basically what a breakout room is, it's a room or two that is off the main meeting room. So sometimes you might want to create breakout rooms if you were maybe having a meeting, and as part of the meeting you needed to put people into groups to do a little bit of brainstorming or whatever, okay? So you might set up two little groups and say, these 5 people are going to go into that group and the next 5 people are going to go into the other group, and we're going to do a brainstorming session. It's also very useful for people who are teaching. If you're teaching and stuff like that, again, you may have a class, you could be teaching something like communications or supervisory management or leadership or something like that, and maybe part of the course there's some assignment work and maybe you have to work in groups, maybe put presentations together or whatever it is. So again, you may split up your students and put so many people into one group and so many people into another group and let them go off and create their projects or whatever. So I want to basically show you how to simply set up the breakout rooms, and they are very, very simple and straightforward to do, okay? So breakout rooms with Zoom, you can have up to 50 separate breakout rooms, which is quite a lot, okay? And they're basically broken down into, if you have up to 200 participants, at the meeting, you can have up to 50 breakout rooms. If you have 400 participants, it's 30, and 500 participants, it's 20, which makes a lot of sense. I have to be honest with you, I think most people, maybe 1 to 2 breakout rooms is really all that they're ever going to set up. It's very, very simple and very straightforward to do, and I'm going to run through it with you now. A thing that a lot of people will say to me is they don't see the option for breakout rooms on their menu. If you don't, it's because, again, it hasn't been set on in the settings. So when we go into the web portal, I'm going to show you the different settings, and I'm going to show you where you can put on your breakout rooms or whatever. Okay, so if it's not there, it doesn't mean you don't have it. It just means that it's not switched on. So don't worry about that. Okay, so if you do have it, what you're going to do is we're going to press the breakout rooms button now in a second. And once we do that, it's going to give us a couple of options and it's going to ask us what do we want to do. So basically what it does is it comes up with this little screen here and it will say to you, how many rooms do you want? So in this particular example, we're going to say 2 rooms, and we're going to have the 2 rooms and we can put all our participants into these 2 rooms. Now, the next question is very important. It generally automatically defaults to automatic. And now what this basically means is when the breakout room is created, do you want the computer to automatically decide who goes into which room? I would generally say no to that, because I think 9 times out of 10, if you're creating a breakout room, you know yourself who you want to put into which room. So if that's the case, you're going to go for the option that says manual. So you'll tick that. And once you've done that, you simply click create rooms. Now, once you click create rooms, this little screen here comes up. And you can see up the top there, it's given us the 2 names of the breakout rooms, breakout 1, breakout 2, and so on. Now, you may decide that you want to rename your breakout room because you may not want to leave a breakout room 1 or breakout room 2. So if you want to rename a breakout room, you simply come up to where the name of it is, up along that little line there. And when you move your mouse along here, the word rename and delete will just pop up, okay? So once they pop up, if it's rename you want, you simply click on rename. And once you do that, you enter in the name of what you want to call the room, okay? So as you can see from my example here, the room has changed to room 101 and the second room is still called breakout room 2. So again, if we wanted to change the name on the second room, we would do exactly the same. We'd move the mouse over here, we'd press rename and we would give it whatever name we wanted to rename it, okay? Now, the next thing is, how do we put the participants into the room? Because we've got the rooms now, and we've 2 rooms, and how are we going to actually manage to put people into whatever rooms we have? Now, in my example, I only have 1 person here, but normally you could have whatever amount of people is in the meeting. So if we had 20 people in the meeting, the 20 of them will be listed here, okay, all by name. And they will all have a little box beside them. And this little box will allow us to tick it and allow us to put them into whichever room we decide. So at the minute, we're looking at room 101, so I would have selected room 101, and when I do that, a sign button comes up and everybody's listed here. So I simply click on the name of everybody that I want to put into that room, and once I've clicked on them all, I come back up here and I press a sign and they will all go into room 101. Then I do the same with the second room. I would click down here. Their names will appear and I tick, 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 tick and press assign and they will go into the second room. It's as simple as that, okay? Now, once you assign somebody to a room, they will get a little pop-up to say that they've been invited to join the room, okay? So they get a little pop-up on the screen and it says, Joe Soap has been invited to join the breakout room. Now, Joe Soap could decide they don't want to go into the breakout room and they can say no, but 9 times out of 10 people will actually accept, okay? So they can accept or reject, but as it says, most people will accept. Now at this point on this screen, if we look at it closely, we'll see here it's John Smith who we've invited, but he hasn't actually joined yet. It tells us he hasn't joined, and also this little circle will change colour in a couple of minutes once he does accept, okay? So on the next screen, as you can see there, John has now accepted. And how we know, it's a little green dot is there. That means he's accepted, he's active, and it also doesn't mention anything about him not joining at that stage, okay? So he has joined the breakout room. So everybody who joins, you as the host will be able to see them all listed there with their little dots and so on. Now, the next thing is that you probably want to join the breakout room because you may want to go round and have a chat to the 2 or 3 or 4 rooms, whatever there is, to go in and see how people are getting on and so on, okay? So if you want to join the breakout room, it's very, very simple. Again, you just come up to your breakout rooms, you move your mouse over to the right, and you'll see the button that says join. So you simply click on that and it'll say, do you want to join room 101? And if you do, you say yes, and then you go into room 101. If it was breakout room number 2, you would come down there and press join and you would go into that one. So you simply select which room you want to go into. Once you join the room, your screen looks like this. So you'll see all the people who are in the room and also yourself displayed there. So you can stay in that room, and then once you want to leave at any point, you'll see there's a red button down the bottom there that says leave the breakout room, okay? So you simply click on that and you will leave the breakout room. It will bring you back to the main room and then you can go into one of the other breakout rooms, just like what we've just done. Very, very straightforward. Now, there is some options on the breakout rooms themselves, and I just want to run through them with you so that you can see kind of what the options are. And to find the options, they're down the very, very bottom of the breakout room screen, okay? So once you click on the little arrow there, the little up arrow, it gives you this little menu here. And some of the options are, the first one is to move all the participants into the breakout rooms automatically. So you remember we said we weren't going to accept that option. So we switched that off a few minutes ago. We said we wanted to manually put people in. And I think that's the best way to do it. Then the next one there says, do you want to allow the participants to return to the main session at any time? And yes, you usually do. It's up to yourself if you want to knock it on or off, but I would leave that at yes. If somebody's finished or the group is finished, they can all come back into the main room when they're finished themselves. That's not a problem at all. The next option is not on at the minute, but you can put it on if you want, and that would basically to close the breakout rooms automatically after a certain length of time. So if you wanted to do that, you could put in whatever the time was, after 10 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever it is, and then the computer will just close the breakout rooms out, and anybody that's in them will just automatically go back to the main room. So again, it's an option if you want to put it on or not. The next one is ticked on, and that is that there's going to be a countdown after closing the breakout rooms. So you can have so many seconds set, so it'll tell you that it's going to close the rooms, and a little message will flash up to tell people they have so long to get out of the room. So they're all quite useful little settings. And again, you can choose whatever ones you like yourself. Another option which I think is very, very useful is the broadcast a meeting to all. And you will see that down at the bottom as well. And basically what that means is you can broadcast a message to both rooms, to the 2 rooms I have here, or the 4 rooms, or the 50 rooms, or whatever it is. If there was a message that you needed to send to everybody, you simply click on the broadcast, type in your message, and it will automatically send to all of the rooms. So again, that is a very, very useful thing to do. So as you can see there, the breakout rooms are very, very straightforward to use. It's very easy to move people in or out or around them. And it's something that you can set up prior to the meeting starting or when the meeting is actually started. It's entirely up to yourself. And as I mentioned earlier on, it does come with the Zoom Basic, which is the free version. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it at that now, guys, and we'll see you in the next section. Again, thanks very much for watching.